That's Ariani's clone. Back to put you back, that was back on your spinal bone. You slit your wrist when I slit you my dish. You wanted to dish, but you know my dish. Grown man never should bite their tongue unless you eat pussy that smell like it's a cell plum. I got my finger on the motherfucking pistol, aiming it at the pig. Charlotte's Web is gonna fish you. My issue isn't televised, and you ain't gotta tell the wise how to sell weed because our life's an instrumental. This is physical and mental. I will sugarcoat it. You die from diabetes if these other niggas wrote it. And everything on TV just a figment of imagination. I don't want no designations. Red neck like a Haitian. Why you motherfuckers wait? I be on this leg ship, building pyramids, write my own hieroglyphs. Just call this shit high power. Nigga, nothing less than high power. Five-star this shit, moving up. What's up, y'all? This is part two right here of Addressing the Culture. That right there was, again, another Kendrick Lamar joint called High Power, produced by J. Cole. Two of the future, you know what I mean, hip hop star, not hip hop stars, I want to say hip hop stars, hip hop enthusiasts, you know what I mean? Because Kendrick Lamar is a different brand. You know, he's rapping about what's on his mind, basically. You know what I mean? Remind you, the kid doesn't smoke weed. You know what I mean? He made a song about not smoking weed and everything. So that was deep. I'm really a Kendrick Lamar fan now. I was put on by my boy Amp. You know what I mean? I didn't know who he was until Amp was like, "Yo, listen to this dude right here. Yo, I think you like him, Mar. You know, he fits your style, son." It's like, where is? So I bumped that joint. I was like, "Yeah, dude is official." So is J. Cole. You know, he got some joints that make you think like, wow, you know what I mean? It's real out here. Now, back to addressing the culture, you know what I mean? The last uh, part one, you know, I was addressing the whole situation with us as a people not treating ourselves with respect and wanting respect, you know what I mean? And you know, I got proof right here. You know what I mean? I take notes of this. You know what I mean? This is notes. This is notes. See this? That's a whole page of notes. 3 pages of notes. You know what I mean? I was in class writing notes about this. It's a um, it's a speech, well, a lecture by uh, anthropologist by the name of Ivan Van Sertima. Sertima. He's from Guyana. Remind you, he knows his roots. He's African and West Indian descent. So this is not coming from some African American. This is not coming from a person straight from the motherland of Africa. This is a man that was born and raised in Guyana. Remind you, you know what I mean? So his credentials, he's a world-renowned scholar, professor at one point in time before he passed. The question was to them, well, that he always been asked of his theory was, what is the evidence for making a claim that Africans came to America before Columbus? And the funny thing is, he named the lecture, They Came Before Columbus. Now, in this is evidence, factual evidence to his theory. You know what I mean? He wasn't there, is what this little white boy in my class said. Oh, he wasn't there. Granted, he wasn't there, but the proof is there. If they wrote it down, other cultures embraced this theory itself. Because Columbus, when he came and landed in present day Haiti, he asked the people through translation, however, another standing around people, they told him, you know, you're not the first person to come here. You know, as people of darker skin that have come here and traded with us, you know, we have spears and things of that nature to show you. And he took those spears back with him when he went back to Spain. And they did tests on it and they looked at it and they took the fibers from what they found in Africa and they saw it and it was like, yo, this is the same exact, how did they get there type of thing. You know what I mean? Remind you, you know, everybody say, you know, if Vikings could come to America, you know, and Vikings were just pillagers, that's all they ever did, like almost like the Mongolians. How is it that Africans couldn't do it and we were the most superior, intellectually superior people on earth? You see what I'm saying? Not just Egypt, but Ethiopians too. Kush, the Empire of Kush. You know, you take that into consideration. There's other facts here that, you know, hit hard to me. That made sense to me. You found, let's see, you got Portuguese, the people of Portugal at the time. They talked to Columbus people and the Spaniards, and they told them, we could see how they ended up in Africa. I mean, ended up in America or in the Caribbean islands because the currents from which, if you come from Africa on the Ethiopian current, well, in the off the not the Ghana coast. Matter of fact, my bad. Let me get the right. The Ghana coast. If you take the Ghana coast off, if you take a boat from the Ghana coast and you let it sail off into the Atlantic Ocean, three currents that you catch onto will send you straight to the Caribbean. You won't even have to direct yourself. It just does it on its own. And this is how the Portuguese found out that the people of Guyana, which I don't know the ancient tribe that lived there, but the people of Ghana, they got a boat and somehow or another ended up in the Caribbean. And that's how the Portuguese found out how to get there by accident. It was just by accident, pure accident. Now, the difference is though, Africans came back. The Ghanaian people came back and they built off that and they went back and forth and traded. And they didn't understand how they could do that. You know what I mean? And it's crazy because it's proof all over. It's proof all through this, through the whole lecture. You can look it up for yourself. You know what I mean? Ivan Van Sertima, they came before Columbus. It's a lecture. You can look it up online. I don't know if they have it on YouTube. I haven't searched it on YouTube yet, but I'm pretty sure if you Google it, you will find it. And you know, it's proof all through it. It's pyramid. It was a pyramid found in North America, not North America. I think it was Peru, and it was in the north-south axis, and it was built similar to the same exact pyramids, well, pyramid standards of Egypt and South Africa at the time. And this is believed to be around 948 BC. You have all this evidence of Africans in different parts of the world, not even just Asia or, you know, South America and the Caribbean before Columbus even ventured, even was existed. You know what I mean? And Professor Sertimore actually puts this out there, and this theory has never been taught to you in a book or anything like that. And that's what's crazy to me because I'm like, yo, I've been in school, you know, 15, 16 years of my life, and I've never heard anything like this ever. The most you ever learn about people from Africa is they speak a different language in Egypt and Kush, but they never explore deeper than that. You know what I mean? It's proof that once slavery came and Europeans came, and right after the Greeks, from the Greek period till the slavery period, Africa was raped to the point that you don't even get to the facts like these. You know what I'm saying? And it's sad because we don't know this. Our children don't know this. Generations went by without even knowing this. I know as grandparents that probably won't even understand what I'm saying right now. Like, what? I don't believe that. All because 500 years of slavery and not even American institutionalism alone, but European influence told us that Africa was a dark coast. There's nothing on Africa but gold. But you find gold on Africa in the African coast. You can find diamonds on the African coast. You could look at Mount Kilimanjaro and be like, yo, this is something that shouldn't exist on the same continent as a desert, and it does. You see what I'm saying? Europeans couldn't get to the Caribbean or to the Americas because it was too far. They had to come to Africa first and then come from the coast of Africa to get that far. Because it's easier to get from Africa across the Atlantic Ocean to the Caribbeans in America than it is to go from Europe and come down. Unlike, of course, the Vikings who came from northern Europe and somehow or another just ended up in Newfoundland, not even America. Well, Newfoundland is a part of the northern hemisphere of America. So, okay, that's justifiable. But in a sense, it's like, how could you go? It's some people who go through K through 12 of education in America and have never heard
facts like this, theories like, even if it's not factual to some people, it's a theory. If you can base a theory of, oh, aliens helped build pyramids for Africans, how the hell can't you base a theory of Africans created science, created medicine, vaccines, created math before the Greeks and Romans even knew what that was? At one point in time, you have to remember that Greeks and Romans came to Egypt to learn. Egypt had a university. You had to learn from them in order to say that you had any amount of education around the world. Well, at the time, that was the world to them. The Europe and Asia and Africa, that was the world to them. They didn't know anything outside of that before then, even though Africans did, of course. Not trying to sit here and say, oh, I'm bragging or I'm trying to bring up propaganda or anything like that. I'm just sparking thought. I'm just asking if this is factual and this is a theory that can be considered factual. Why hasn't it been taught to students when you have all these other theories out there? You know what I mean? African religion is was way before you even had the Roman Catholic Church or anything like that. You know what I mean? So it's like, how can you send missionaries to a place that already knew what it was? You know what I mean? You put an infrastructure in already structured area. You broke down the structure and then you infiltrated it and you built it up to what you wanted it to be. Sort of like America in a sense. I love this country. It's biased to a degree because white people think they're better than everybody, and I don't care what a white person says. They know it's the truth. They think they're better than us. They think we're nothing. They think we're heathens. They think we're monkeys and all this other stuff. So if you can say it and you can believe that, I can believe that my people were at one point in time and can still be considered the most intellectual people on this planet. Because if you teach a black person something, they'll teach another black person something, and you will be surprised at how brilliant the mind can be of a black man or woman. Point blank, period. You see what I'm saying? And once again, slavery comes up again. You know, what the Greeks did come up again. You raped and pillaged our culture. You killed the you killed the infrastructure of greatness. Every dynasty comes to an end, yes, but culture should never come to an end. Culture is forever changing. Always evolves, and it's like, where do you get the just to not tell us these facts? Where do you get off telling us that we aren't anything, we don't have any significance, and we are not people, but you want us to live by your rules and your means? Like I said, most of these countries and civilizations that lived after Egypt and all that were basically based off Egypt and Kush and empires that existed in Africa. It's factual. You find statues and basically buildings of Ethiopians in South America, and you don't give us no credit for that. You know what I mean? It's factual. It's stuff that you can see. You search, you will find. You know what I mean? Get the get the gist of it. Social networking. This is what social network should be right here. Connecting with one another for a higher cause, for a higher power. You know what I mean? That's all it should be, and that's all I'm saying. Y'all can take that however y'all want to take it. I'm out of here.